Happy New Year's, everybody! Welcome to episode 182 of Petey's Awesome Guest Panel, and also our first episode of the year. And what a guest star we have tonight, and a legendary iconic name. But before we introduce tonight's wonderful guest star, let's introduce tonight's roundhouse of co-hosts for this evening. First off, the land from down under, Miss Jessie Devine.
Oh, hi! Happy New Year, guys!
Jess, always
been
good
a
to see
while.
you, my friend.
Great to see you too.
Also joining us tonight, Mr. Christopher Patty.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo, to you too, sir. It's always good to have you on. And also joining us here tonight is a gentleman who's been on the show before. He's a wonderful friend of ours, and he is a wonderful gentleman, and that is Mr. Michael Brogdon.
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
Welcome back, Mike.
Thanks. Good to be back.
Great to have you here. Now, we're going to introduce tonight's guest star for the evening. He is a wonderful man. He is a gentleman that I had the honor and privilege of interviewing on our show last time. He is the star of Mighty Morphin and Baboo himself, Mr. Steve Andreno. Steve, welcome back. How are you today, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me on again.
It's great to have you
You're
on, man.
welcome.
And you know what? We're gonna do something different tonight because you answered most of the questions we had last time though, so we're gonna try something different tonight. So instead of me asking questions though, we're gonna have our co-host ask the question, and after every co-host asks a question, we're gonna show a special Baboo clip that I have prepared for you, of course, in your honor, sir. So we're gonna start off with the first question, if this gentleman has one, and because he hasn't been on the show for a while, we're gonna let Michael ask the first question. So Mike, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for coming on.
Quite welcome. Thank you guys again
Question:
for having me.
How was the audition process for you for auditioning for Baboo?
Yeah, it wasn't really an audition process. They didn't call me in specifically to be Baboo. I was there as an extra, one of the background kids. And actually, the first episode I did, they had me as a punk in detention with Bulk and Skull. So they didn't use me for any other of the shoots. They didn't want me in the background in the hallway or the classroom or the juice bar. So I sat around most of the day doing nothing. And after lunch, they came up to me and said, "Oh, wait, Steve, how tall are you again? What's your shoe size? Hey, come here, try this costume on." Because this was a Thursday and they needed to shoot on the following Tuesday. They had me try it on. I could move around in it pretty well. They liked the way it looked on me. They asked if I was okay with makeup. I said, sure, I've done stage theater work, so I'm okay with having full makeup. They said, great, we'll give you a call Monday, let you know where to be on Tuesday. Now, I've not seen the show yet. I don't recognize the character. I don't know that this character is a regular on the show. I thought this was a one-off. So they called me Monday and said, okay, you need to be at Zuma Beach on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Be in the makeup trailer. Okay, got the directions, got out there. They did makeup for about an hour and 15 minutes, put me in the suit, filmed the one scene. By 11 o'clock, I'm cleaned up. I'm ready to go home. And I'm getting paid a full day's pay for this, even though it's only 3 hours. And I said to them, hey, guys, that was great. I really appreciate it. If you need me again for this monster, let me know. And they're like, Steve, this is a regular character on the show. You're it now. And for all of season 2 and 3, I got to be the guy in the suit.
And
That is incredible.
And a legend was made.
Just right place, right time. I couldn't ask for anything more.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And now, before Chris gets to his question, Steve, we're going to play one of our clips that I prepared for you. Now, before we had this interview, though, I promised that I was going to make a special tribute to you in your honor, though. Like, not only for you, but to the people that played Baboo and Squad. That was the suit actors and the voice actors. And that includes Michael Surridge, yourself, Dave. If I say this wrong, correct me if I'm wrong here. Dave Mallow. Did I say that correctly?
Dave Mallow.
Mallow, pardon me. And of course the Sentai suit people. So I'm going to show the first clip that you appeared as Baboo, and I believe this was the first episode, which was season 2, episode 1, The Mutiny, part 1.
Correct.
So we're going to show a clip from there. Just let me know when everyone can see it, and then I will go ahead and share the video. Now, oops, sorry about that. All right, let me know when everyone can see. What can everyone see?
Yep, we're good. The ultimate best of Baboo and Squad.
Excellent.
Yep.
So here we go. I made this. It's originally a 3-hour video, but I dissected it to a certain clip. So we're going to show some of these clips tonight. So here we go.
Oh, what a pleasant surprise! Welcome! How can I be of service to you, traitor? Oh, Lord said, give me another chance! I will not fail again!
Quit! Those Power Rangers are nothing but mere infants! You were defeated by children! You dare call yourself an Empress of Evil? You are not fit to destroy a cockroach! I have always said that, my lord!
You gold-bellied rat!
You have made me very angry!
Oh, how very interesting. The Chamber of Command changes its color along with Lloyd.
So what'd you think?
I mean, definitely not the first scene I actually shot, but yeah, I mean, just the whole couple episodes introducing us. There's one clip a little later on where we're actually sitting up on top of the wall.
That's in the. I wasn't able to get that clip, but it's in the video itself though. But we're gonna
Right.
show more clips from that. Don't
Yeah,
worry,
right.
that scene is in that video, but I just don't have it with me right now.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But I was just going to explain. So that's the actual set wall that we're sitting on. You can see that they've got, like gaffer's tape and stuff up there. It wasn't really made to be filmed from that angle because we're sitting on top and you see stuff in like the back of the wall that you're not supposed to. But I remember we got in a scissor lift and got up there and sat up there. We weren't tied off. And those walls were about 15 feet up off the ground because they wanted to make it look like a grandiose palace. So,
wow.
At this age, I would probably go, hey guys, we need a little bit of safety concern here, but just starting to do it, just getting the job. I'm like, yeah, I'll do whatever you want me to. I don't care. I didn't even think twice about it.
I gotta ask you this too, Steve. I noticed in this episode because I noticed they went, and Michael, you probably remember this too, like where they were trying to balance between the Sentai Rita, and then when they tried to do American version of that episode, they cover Rita's face though. Was Carla on set with doing Rita that day, or was
Yes, that was all Carla, but they
Okay.
shot everything they shot was from the side or behind, so you wouldn't really see her face, and all the close-ups were the Sentai footage. I was always under the impression that that was really going to be a one-off for Carla, that once she was done filming Rita in the costume, that Rita was gone. That's why they wrote her off the show. But after the Lord Zed episode started to appear on TV, started to be broadcast, the kids were okay with it, but a lot of the parents were really thought Zed was too scary for like the little kids, so like 5 and 6-year-olds, which they didn't care. But if you look at the suit, I mean, literally, it looks like it's somebody who's basically had his skin ripped off, and you see all his muscles and stuff. And and of course, what's his guy, Robert Axelrod doing such a
Actually, yeah.
great job with the voice, made it that much scarier. I always was under the impression that that was the reason they brought Rita back, to kind of soften up Zed. So, but having talked to Carla at the Ranger Stop and Pop this past year, she said no. She said the plan always was to bring her back. So I don't know.
Didn't know that. Chris, you had a question. Now you can finally ask the question since you weren't here last time. Here's your question asked.
So, as a physical embodiment of Baboo, you brought the character to life on screen. In Zoo Ranger, Baboo's Japanese counterpart, Totpat, had some more distinct vampire alchemist characteristics, like his cloak having a life of its own and more explicit and often comedic attempts at vampirism. From your perspective, what creative opportunities do you think the writers might have missed in incorporating those unique Totpat elements into Baboo's physical actions or storylines to make him even more of a distinct presence in Rita's lair?
Well, my understanding is when they first cast Dave Mallow as the voice of Baboo, he was doing more of a Eastern European, Transylvanian, vampiric type voice for it. So he's looked at the costume, looked at the old footage, and said, "Okay, must be what they want." And after he did that, they talked to him about it and said, "We don't really want to go that route." So what did they miss? It's hard to say because the character did so well. What I will say is this: the first scene that I ever shot as Baboo, as I said, was on Zuma Beach. Oddly enough, it didn't actually make it into the broadcast. It ended up on the cutting room floor. But again, as I explained, I hadn't seen the show up until this point. So when they say I'm playing this monster, we were supposed to dig up a chest that had the dark power coins on it that turned the putties into evil versions of the Rangers. The scene was just me and Squat digging up on the beach, and then they zoom in, on the chest, and then they pull back and we celebrate. Well, I celebrate it like I'm gonna be an evil monster. Yeah, this is great. We're gonna get. They yell cut, and the first thing they said is, "Steve, you haven't watched the show yet, have you?" And I said, "No." They're like, "Not that kind of monster. We want someone that's a little more goofy. You're the flunky that has to follow all the orders from Rita and then Zed." So I'm like, okay. So my mind immediately went to the flying monkeys from the Wizard of Oz, and that's kind of how I played it. From then on, nobody ever said they wanted it in a different direction. They liked what I did. Like, yeah, no, that was perfect. We like that. Keep doing that. So that's kind of the way I played it. If you look at the first season, like you said, Toppat always stands up very straight and he's always very, you know, precise and direct with his movements. I was playing it a little more hunched over and more like, okay, I'm getting yelled at all the time, so I can't be stand up straight, defiant kind of thing. I need to be a little more cowering all the time. And that's just the way I interpreted the character, and that's the way they let me play him.
We're actually gonna play a clip from that from passing the lantern quickly though. But I just want to actually too like when you're doing the scene that squat, the stunt person that's playing Baboo, the American person, that was Melody Neat, right?
All the way around. I was Baboo. Yeah, Melanie Neat was squat
squat. Excuse
for
me.
95%. There was like a day or two where she was unavailable and they used a regular stunt person in the suit. But pretty much all the location stuff was always us. I think it was just a day or two on set in the palace that she didn't appear
Oh, okay.
actually in the suit. But yeah, she was squat for 95% of it.
Oh, you both nailed it though. And then here's another scene too. Like I don't know if this was Melody or not, but we're gonna watch it right now. It's passing the lantern, so we're gonna watch the scene. But you just nailed the scene, by the way, Steve. I was rewatching this, and this was just gold. Just let me know when everyone could see, and I'm going to go ahead and play the clip. This is from the Ultimate Best of Baboo and Squat. Passing the lantern. Can everyone see?
Yep.
Yep.
Here we go.
Yep.
Hey, Billy, Adam. Take us.
There you are.
Yep.
Just stand there! Go and get the lantern!
Look at all these lanterns. What are we going to do? We don't know which one is the right one. Oh, stop with the chin music. If we take all of them, then nobody can yell at us.
Easiest fight I was never in.
I mean, that's good logic.
Let's take our lanterns and go home. If you do have any brains, you'd be dangerous. What'd you take all these lanterns for? You gonna open a store? Oh, you find the right one, or I'll chop you both into sushi. Ah!
Oh.
That one nearly hit me in the skull. Get it, skull? Get it? Huh? Get it? Get it? Skull? Get it? Skull? Get it? Skull? Get it?
Inside for a name tag.
Skull? Get it? Hey,
Wait for it.
look, skull up ahead.
Don't tell me you two can't read.
What do we do? What do we do? Do we call for reinforcements?
Give me that manual. Come on, give me that manual quick before they beam us up somewhere. I'm trying to find a section on aliens. Oh, there. Oh, there. That had to hurt.
The real stars of the show.
Oh man. Paul and Jason.
Let's go, meathead.
This right here.
Why are we screaming?
Because evil space aliens are using their magical powers right in front of us.
Oh.
Oh man.
Why did you bring me so many? Oh, how am I supposed to know?
This
which
was
ones
also
have
you
the
too, right,
special
Steve?
powers?
Oh yeah,
Good
absolutely.
guys did all the lanterns were special.
Fortunately, I have a natural gift for sensing extraordinary powers.
That's true. You did choose me.
Get ready. Here it is. This is the lantern we want.
This one matches the drapes better.
Ah, send it, monkey. I know what I'm
Monstrous space aliens are the norm.
Oh yeah.
Like, how do the police actually, like,
I don't want this.
have any counter to that anyways? I mean, wouldn't they?
You're so politically
Yes.
correct,
Oh
Zeddy.
boy.
I love it.
Don't call me Zeddy.
Now get ready for Lantera, power dweebs.
Okay, so Oh, Jess, before you get to your question, I gotta ask Steve, do you think that after watching this, that Zed and Rita could have totally had their own spin-off with Baboo and Squat as recurring characters and Goldar as a recurring character?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've said this before. The monsters are no. I just said Bulk and Skull with the real stars of the show, but realistically, the monsters are the stars of the show. You can have monsters in a movie or a TV show without superheroes, and you have a show. You have superheroes with nobody to fight, no villains, no bad guys. What are they doing? Sitting around eating shawarma, like the end of Marvel, end of Avengers. Yeah, so I mean, they definitely could have done a show just of Rita and Zed and us afterwards conquering another planet or just trying to avoid. You don't need Power Rangers for it. You could do all kinds of fun stuff with it.
Totally. And you know what bothers me about Zeo though is that they just basically just written Baboo and Squad off without any explanation. And that's the one thing that bothered me as a kid. And maybe I'm wrong here. Michael, did they explain Baboo and Squad's disappearance? Or they just said, oh, they just disappeared while they were going to a different planet, Rita and Zed?
They just
Yeah, no,
disappeared.
we did just disappear. Part of that, I mean, obviously the script was already written, but we finished filming season 3 on September 14th. It was the day after my wife's birthday. 1 month later, I eloped with her and moved to Vegas. So, not knowing at the time, not like cell phones nowadays that work wherever you are, pagers were very regional. It would work in a couple of area codes around where you registered it, and that was it. I figured they could still reach me. They would still page me. I'd get the page when I was living in Vegas, make a quick call. Yeah, what time do you need me? Drive back that night, stay at a friend or relative's house, get to set and do it all. You know, I had a job in Vegas where I could pretty much take whenever I wanted off. Never got a call. So I assumed they wrote the character off the show, which they did, but because I wasn't there, I don't know if that's why they didn't do a proper write-off. I don't think so. I think it's just that they were writing them off and they used that 1 or 2 episodes of transition. But even at the end, when Zed and Rita are turned human, you know, after the power wave destroys everything, you never quite know what happened to Squat and Baboo, which is why Boom Comics, when they started, they actually started doing the little adventures of Squat and Baboo in the comics, where we just got teleported randomly to the middle of who knows where, and we're just trying our adventures from that point on.
And I gotta tell you too, Steve, from what I read online too, they said that the official, even though they never officially gave a final appearance for Baboo and Squat, though, they're saying online that the final appearance of Baboo was the Zeo episode. I think I don't know, it was a Zeo episode. I think it was probably Good as Gold. I could be wrong on that one, but they said Squat's final appearance was in space in the crowd in Countdown to Destruction, part 1.
Yeah,
Now,
he was at the table there.
Mhm.
Technically, there is a Baboo sighting. I want to say it's an SPD, where because the costume was pretty much already destroyed at that point, it was the original Japanese costume that I was in, and they literally would patch and paint it the night before, so it was camera ready. They do have a character wearing a big trench coat and
Yes.
wearing the Baboo head. So that's supposed to be the last sighting of Baboo. Is that official? Is that canon? Is it really supposed to be Baboo? The way they dressed him and with the head, I think it's supposed to be, but I don't know who did that, who was in the head for that one shot.
I don't know if it's possible or not, but I wouldn't rule it out only because in Mystic Force, and I could be wrong. Was it Mystic Force, Michael, where Rita came back as the Mystic Mother?
Yeah, it was Mystic Force.
Mystic Force,
Yep.
okay. So I wouldn't put it past me that I was a purified Baboo though. Like, and I was wrong though. It was Countdown to Destruction was Squat's final appearance part 1, and then I think from out of nowhere that was the first in space episode with the dinner scene that you mentioned though.
Right.
Part 1 that I believe was Baboo's final scene.
Or squats,
Um,
yeah.
but we're gonna show another clip for a second though. But Mr. Vine, do you have a question or comment? If not,
Sadly, no.
not,
I'm a bit nervous.
not ready. Okay, don't worry.
Well,
Because we,
I was gonna say before we get to that, if I can talk about that particular clip, then if you don't have a question,
Sure.
then Jesse.
That's
Um,
okay.
the reason that's one of the ones I wanted to bring up. One, because I thought it was such a good, funny scene with us just sitting there with all of them going, "Oh, we got the right one. We just don't know which one it is." The fingernails on the Baboo costume were about 3 inches long. It's foam rubber on the end of my fingers. It was almost impossible to reach up and grab those. You don't even see Squat try. One, because Melanie was a little too short, and two, in the other costumes, there's almost no visibility at all. I have been in a few of the other monster costumes, Octo Phantom, Robo Goat, Invincible Flytrap, Fighting Flea, for other things that were not filmed, but appearances that needed to be made. And they're very hard to see out of. So I was the only one that could even attempt to try to get the lanterns, and I'm going, I can't grab it. I'm like grabbing it with my palms and trying to figure out how to get the string off of the hook so I could actually pull it down. You only see me get one of them down because it was too hard to do it.
Those damn nails.
Yep.
We're gonna show. Actually, I want to get your experience on this one though. For this next clip though, because this is the one where they Beauty and the Beast, where they turn Kimberly and they want to try to turn into Rita Repulsa. So we're gonna show this clip, and I want to get your experience shooting this scene particularly.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna play one more clip, and this one I think you'll get a kick out of. Here we go. Let me know when everyone can see it. I'm gonna go ahead and share.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Dude, she's no fun. She fell right over.
Oh, where am I?
You are in the cave of fantasy. You have been selected by Lord Zed to become our new queen.
Looks good on her.
All remnants of your former life as a Power Ranger have been removed for safekeeping. Are you ready for your training?
Dude, it looks like Rita.
Well...
Oh, that gold goon thinks his spell worked. Okay, I'll show him.
Queenie! These clothes are wrinkled! I deserve better! What are you looking at?
Nothing, your Highness.
You swine!
Your instruction will now begin. Kneel to me as your master teacher.
Forget it! You should be kneeling to me!
Ooh, that was good.
And as for you two...
She's a lot like Rita, isn't she?
Oh, you nutskull! You're giving me a headache!
Maybe this was a bad idea. For once my spell worked too well.
Kimberly!
Oh, I thought you guys would never come.
Where did you come from?
We thought you were under a spell. The spell didn't work. Hurry, get my morpher and my communicator.
You'll have to deal with me first.
No problem.
Yeah, go get her, Goldar. Get you. Why you back so quick?
You lose, Goldar. Come on, let's get out of here.
I don't believe that.
Your experience, Steve, doing this scene?
Okay. Well, the reason I wanted you to show
Commentary
this.
on the cone bra she was wearing.
Oh, but no, yeah, well, no, she did a great job as Rita. She really went for it with the voice. But the reason I wanted you to pull that scene specifically is you see that shot where she yells at him and she hits him with the staff.
Mm-hmm.
And she turns around and she swings it at us. Well, the first take, she actually went to hit me with the staff too, and did, and broke the top off of the staff because it's just styrofoam sitting on there. So she actually hit me. Remember, I've got 6 inches of foam latex on my head, with my head this tall. She actually hit it, and she did. And you, oh my God, Steve, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, AJ, if I didn't see the thing fall, I would never have known you hit me. I didn't feel the thing. Now, we're on location at Bronson Cave, so we don't have the whole art department, around the corner, down the hall, whatever. So they're all in a panic. What are we going to do? How are we going to fix the staff? So they have one person on site from the art department. He literally takes the staff, sticks a couple of toothpicks in it from craft services, sticks the top back on and says, okay, here you go, but don't hit anybody with it this time. So they used I guess they used her hitting Goldar from the first take and then cut it, and then when they did the other shot is why she just swings it at us and doesn't actually hit us.
Wow. And how long did it take? I mean, basically seconds, right, to get that back on?
Yeah, literally. He walked over there, grabbed a couple toothpicks, stick. Here's the top back on. Be careful with it. Just don't hit anybody now.
I gotta ask you too, Steve, about the makeup they used for Baboo though. Like how many like how long did you have to be in the makeup chair to get the Baboo blue makeup on?
Normally, the actors would be on set at 6:30 to go to makeup to be ready to film at 7. I used to get there at 5:30 because it took a little over an hour when we first started to do the full makeup. It was basically from my lips down was the darker blue, from my lips up was a lighter blue, the red lipstick, and then I had some white around my eyes as well. So as the makeup artist does it over and over, they realize, okay, I know now. I know I don't need to go as far into the hairline because you're not going to see it. I can, I can cheat this a little bit, or I just, I already know the colors by heart. I know how much I'm going to need, so they're doing it a lot quicker.
Now, when doing, I know, I'm sorry, you gonna say something, sir? I didn't mean
I
to
was
interrupt.
listening. So once that was done, it would be breakfast time. Now, so I'm eating breakfast in full makeup. Most of the actors and crew saw me in full, I was in full makeup all the time because I would do that before I did anything else. I'd have a black spandex suit on and a blue face. So much so that they started calling me Blue Boy as a joke. And then to kind of lean into that, I had blueberry pancakes for breakfast from craft services every day I was on set.
Pancakes. You're making me sound like Homer Simpson, Steve. You're making me go from one Fox show to another.
There you go.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you too, Steve. So like when doing Mighty Morphin though, did you have like a regular rehearsal and then the dress rehearsal, which is the full makeup rehearsal, or was it just one rehearsal you did as Baboo?
I would arrive on set. After I got out of makeup, they would hand me my sides. Now, what sides are is the pages of the script that you're actually shooting, that everybody's shooting that day. So it had my lines and it had Zed and Rita's lines. If it was just the two of them in a scene we were shooting, it would have their lines in it. But literally, there was no rehearsal. It was read over the sides. All right, get in front of the camera, places, shoot it. And it would either be cut, they would call back to one, meaning go right back to the starting place. We're going to film immediately. Or if it was going to be a bit and they liked what they got, or they realized something wasn't right and lighting needed to be adjusted or whatever, they'd yell cut, they'd kill, and then it would be pull the heads. So everybody that had a full face monster, so Zed, Goldar, Squat, Finster, whoever else might be there as full monsters, would get their heads taken off right away so they can breathe. Again, Baboo has the open face and the makeup. My head does not come off. Also, because if it does, it's going to smear the makeup and they don't want to touch up every time. So once they put the head on for the first time, it stayed on unless we were going to be a couple of hours or we're breaking for lunch to go in front of the camera. So most of the time, I'm walking around after the day starts with the head on and the makeup and the black spandex. Getting in and out of the suit took a couple minutes. It was literally someone held it up. I stepped into it. They zipped up the back, zipped on the shoes, and I was set to go.
I see. And of course, I gotta ask you, as an actor though, when playing Baboo though, and because we know Mallow, pardon me, Dave Mallow does the voice of Baboo though. So when reading the script for Baboo though, do you like, because you're in charge of Baboo's physical gestures, his body gestures, his body language. So do you, when you read the script though, do you see what it is and then you try to match your body language to make sure like it matches what Dave is trying like to say, so that way it connects?
Well, my understanding is they would shoot the suit work first. So he would watch, they would play back in the sound booth the scene. He's got the script there. He knows what I'm going to say. He'll watch it once or twice to see me. I actually had to give the lines as written because you can see my mouth. You can, so I had to be as accurate as possible. Technically, he was going off of my pacing, my intonation, my focus on whatever word that I focused on for a line. If there was an emphasis on a particular word or a particular group of words, although I never met Dave directly, I never had any, hey, Dave says he wants you to say these lines a little faster or a little slower. I had none of that. It was, I would go in and shoot it and he would match up to what I did as far as I knew. And again, if he thought something sounded a little better, yeah, if it's slightly off, just like Rita's voice was off all of season 1 because the original, obviously footage was shot in Japanese. So the mouth movements weren't exact. That was the same, I guess, if there was a little slight something he needed to change. But for the most part, he matched to the way I delivered the line instead of me trying to anticipate how he wanted to deliver it.
Thank you for explaining that to me, sir. And I'm glad you brought that up because the reason I asked that is because I was curious to know how that was set up, though. Because in Muppets, though, like I'll give an example, though, like Jim Henson's Muppet, the Swedish Chef, though, it requires he has live hands, live action
Yes.
hands, and you need a person. So Jim would control the one hand and the mouth, and then the
Mhm.
other hand would be controlled by Frank Oz. Now Frank would have to work with Jim in order to make sure his hands are matching
Working
with his
together.
movement.
Right.
That was the only reason why I brought that up, sir.
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
Thank you. We're gonna show one final clip, and then we're gonna wrap up, though. And I want to get your thoughts on this. This is from one of my favorite Mighty Morphin episodes. I still remember 5-year-old me watching this, and that was the wedding, the episode. And this was part 3. And we're gonna show the fun part, and we're gonna show the whole monster mash. I want to
yeah.
get your thoughts on this, sir. I already know Mike's getting excited about this. Chris, I'm curious to see what you're gonna see about this, and Jess, I'm curious to see what you have to say about this as well. So we're gonna go ahead and play this. This was Steve doing a special villain when, so we're gonna play that right now. Here we go. Can everyone see?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
There we go.
Here we go.
Yes, yes, it's beautiful.
Here comes the queen.
Guess who's walking down the bride?
That a scream. No one can ever be quite as mean.
I love that.
It's lovely.
Beautiful wedding.
Lovely in a proper kind of way.
Dear beloved, we are gathered here to join these two gargoyles in matrimony. Is there any
You gotta cry at a wedding, right?
why these two should not be wed?
Yes, now that you mention it, I think I'd like to.
Whoa! Get on with it, mister.
Do you, Lord Zed, master of all evil, take Rita Repulsa to be your bride?
Well,
I do. No.
And do you, Rita?
yes.
Uh,
I mean, I do.
who has the ring?
Wonder if that's a preview of my wedding.
You're holding it, meathead. Give me that. Here you go, Zedekins. Put this on. Okay, go ahead.
By the powers vested in me by Lord Zed, I now pronounce you husband and fight. I mean wife. Go ahead and kiss.
Come here, my little prickly pear.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Don't they make an ugly couple?
They make it ugly.
a nightmare come true. I'm all for Clem. Come,
Here we go.
time to dance.
Or that is Jewish.
Yep.
Yeah, for it, baby.
Tequila, I'm gonna do.
That party, he's getting his proof. He's getting his proof on.
They basically called in every stuntman to fill up all the costumes and said, just go have fun. Just be as silly and as goofy as you want to be.
It looks like you were having fun with this, Steve.
Oh, I mean, it was literally, the way I describe it is bumper cars with monster costumes. You couldn't take one step without bumping into somebody else. Except in scenes like this. I mean, that was not something that was in the script. That was just, let's do something funny. Let's do something silly. Feeding each other. Him feeding RoboGoat and...
Are those monsters in other episodes or what?
What was that?
Monsters in other episodes or what?
Yeah, those are all monsters of the week from different episodes. I said, as it turns out, like I said, I had been in like about five of those different costumes for other things before or after filming this. But yeah, but now there's one scene that was, I know that we shot, but I don't know what happened that we didn't end up using it. So in the script, which I still have, it calls for Squat and I to be dancing next to each other. Squat bumps into me, knocks me into the buffet table. I knock the whole table down, all the stuff spills all over me. and then one of the other monsters reaches down, grabs something like off of my face, one of the wormy whatevers, and goes, that's really good.
Oh, why'd they
Now,
cut that
we
out?
only filmed it once. We filmed it at the end of the day because once it happened, it's like we're not going to reset and clean this mess up and do this all again. If it works and we can use it, great. And if not, well, something went wrong. I don't know if it was lighting. I don't know if it was a sound issue. If it was literally they just like, we don't really have the time to fit it in there. We don't like the way it looks, whatever. They ended up not using it.
They should have. That sounds like a fucking funny scene.
That's the one thing I would love to get is the outtakes of all the stuff that we did. There was so much stuff that we did. And again, that was because the show was new. It was a new format. There was no set way. There was no formula to do a type of show like this. It had never been done in the States before. So we were allowed from the directors, really from the writers to the directors on down to, hey, you know what? Let's try this. This isn't in the script, but how about we film this and see how it looks on camera? Well, why don't we do this instead? And we were just allowed to try stuff. Like there was one scene where Squat and I were feeding the Tengas when Rito first gave the egg. Actually, I think we were waiting for them to hatch still. And we're sitting there, we're playing cards with each other. And we're both cheating. Baboo has the bone wings in the back, so I've got a couple of cards that my wings are holding. Squat's got one card in his boot, another one stuck to the back of his helmet. All we're doing is arguing, yelling at each other because the other one's cheating. I'm not cheating, you're cheating. Oh no, but you did. Yeah, but I saw. So I mean, we did funny stuff like that I would love to see because that was more of the acting. That was more of what I did. But as a minor character, I'm not going to say lesser, but as a minor character and as a character that's there for comic relief, they use some of it, but not everything because we tried so much stuff.
Yeah, more of a stage presence like Top Hat did. That would have been great.
Again, like I said, because of the way, again, and I didn't watch the Japanese, the Sentai until well after I was done. So I didn't even know until I went, oh, wow, that is really different. That was not what I was, what I would have thought, not what I was expecting to do, or I did this totally differently, but I was not given you need to do it this way. It was, you know what, we like the way you're doing and we like your take on the character, so just go with it. And I think part of that was because Melanie and I had just such a connection right off the bat. We had never met before that first day on location at Zuma Beach, and we just clicked. We just got along with each other. The movements, the way we talked to each other, the physicalness of it, we just clicked so much that I think they just wanted to keep it that way. If you got great chemistry, let's not try to change up the character because that's going to change the chemistry. They wanted the chemistry more. And looking back at it and having watched, the other parts of the show, Baboo and Squat were the bulk and skull of the monsters. We were there for the comic relief. We were there to do the silly stuff and trip over things or drop things although I will say we completed every task we were assigned by Rita or Zed. Unlike Goldar, who could never seem to beat Jason the Red Ranger by himself.
I wonder.
I'm just saying.
Steve, I gotta ask you too, and I always wondered this as a kid though, how much of that wonderful spooky food was edible and how much of it was prop?
For a scene like that in the wedding, some of it had to be edible because they were actually trying to eat stuff, even though they had the masks on. I'd say very little of it was edible. I will say you didn't necessarily see it in that shot, but when there was a long shot or a rolling shot of the buffet table and there were a couple of snakes on it, those were real snakes.
Oh, wow.
Well, those were one of the crew member snakes. I don't know if it was Mark or not. I forgot to ask him last time I saw him if it was his, because again, it was 30 plus years ago. But like in the first episode of the Mutiny, when he has the snake and he throws the snake down and it turns into the staff, that was one of them was the same snake that we used in the wedding, and then they just had they had another one, a second one that they brought down for that. But yeah, those are one of the crew members' actual pets.
Was the little fella hostile, or was he like?
No, they were boas, so they were not hostile. They were just gonna slither around. Worst they would do would be start to wrap around you, and if it got real bad, you just call somebody over and they'd unwind it. But I don't think it got on anybody at all.
Oh, okay. We're gonna wrap up soon, but before we do, Steve, we're gonna get to our final comments here. Any final questions and or comments? So I'm gonna ask mine in a second though, but I'm gonna pass it over to my co-host for this evening. Michael, your final comment and or question for the legendary Steve Andreno.
Well, my first of all, you did excellent as Baboo. That's my comment. You were excellent. And honestly, my question is this, because I'm getting married in 2 years. Do you have any advice?
Oh, okay. Here's my advice for that. And my wife passed in July of last year, 2 months,
So
2 months shy of our 30th anniversary. So I consider myself an expert on the subject. So I will give it what I can. Remember a couple things. And one, I'm sure you've heard, don't go to bed angry. Don't go to bed mad at each other. Get it out, deal with it as soon as you can. Make each other laugh as much as you can. My wife and I were telling each other the same inside jokes and doing the same things to make each other laugh up until the day she died. So yeah, we're always teasing with each other, making fun, saying silly things. That's what keeps the marriage going. And most importantly, don't fight with your wife, fight for her. It's you two against everybody else. So remember that. She's your ride or die. She's your bae. She's your everything. You guys are on the same side no matter what.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Quite welcome.
Awesome. Mr. Vine, your final comment or question for legendary Steve Andreno.
you're brilliant as one of the Power Rangers villains, and this might be my first show without the question sheet. Sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, we asked all the questions. That's why like we want this to be a different show. I wanted to change up a bit. So next one we're gonna try to do questions. So we just didn't have anything going. Plus I wanted to show these clips. I was so excited to show Steve these clips.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really wanted to see them because I wanted to be able to comment on them and give you some behind the scenes knowledge that no one else would have.
Cool. Mr. Patty, your final comment.
Well, I definitely appreciate the role you gave and the contribution you did for the Power Rangers series. And yeah, on one hand, for standards and practices, I'm sure there was like plenty of reasons why they didn't really just like go there with Baboo as much as they could have and as much as they did with Top Hat. That is what it was. Is what it is. Was what it was. And yeah, I definitely still appreciate that you were part of my childhood and you're still able to bring that character to life.
Again, thank you very much. For those out there that want to see me, meet me at shows, I do have one convention lined up right now. It's Final Boss Con, which is going to be in Rio Grande, Ohio, April 25th and 26th. That's the only thing I have booked right now. I am working on trying to get out to all the larger Ranger-centric conventions, of course. But I will say this to anybody that wants to see me at their convention, telling me is great, but I'm going to be honest, I'll go to any convention pretty much that'll have me. The best way to meet me is to go to the convention owners, contact them directly and request me as a guest. That's the best way to get me out to a show. Telling me is great and I love it and I love seeing all the people that want to meet me and I want to meet everybody. But the best way to get me somewhere is go directly to the convention producers and say, hey, we want this guy out here.
Steve, I just want to thank you again for doing this incredible show for us. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. I'm going to send you a copy of this interview as soon as we're done, though. One of the questions I have before we wrap up here is, will you be at this year's PMCC Power MorpherCon in August?
Again, that's the holy grail. That's the one I'm trying to get to. I've got my agents working on it. I do have a booking agency that I'm with. They actually just recently changed their name to start the new year. They were the Morphin Agency, but they wanted something that was a little more indicative of what they do because they handle people other than Power Rangers. So it is now Heroic Talent and Appearances. That's the name of the agency that will book me for shows. So if you want to reach out to them directly or have your local con reach out to them to get me out there, that'd be the best way to do it. But yeah, we're fighting hard to get out to Power Morphicon, especially because, you know, having lived out there, knowing the area, being able to visit some of these places that we filmed again would be fantastic.
Be cool. And you know what? I hope to get there myself too, to Power Morphicon too. And if I do, I will give you the
Well,
big if I see you.
that's right around your honeymoon time, isn't it?
I'm sorry?
Well, isn't that going to be right around your honeymoon?
Yes.
So you have those last couple of days of the honeymoon open.
Yes. Hopefully I'm gonna.
Well, hopefully we'll see each other there.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
gonna give you the biggest bear hug when I see you, Steve. Steve, it was great having you on, sir, and it was a pleasure. I'm gonna send you this interview when it's done and uploaded. But you have a great night, and everyone have a great night. And it was a great show back. And here's to more in the future.
Well, hey, thank you for considering me for the first show of the new year. Great to talk to you guys again, and anytime.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Same goes to you.
And remember one thing before we go?
Yes.
Monsters need love too.
You said it.
Monsters are such interesting creatures.
That's awesome. Steve, everyone, you have an awesome night, and I will see everybody in the future.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You
Have a
too.
good night, guys.